Hey, Shalom, peace. First, I want to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash, double honors to apostles, bishops, elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers, pushing this word in truth and sincerity, Shabbat Chanak. Coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash, Shalom, Shalom to the Lord's elect. Okay, this is going to be a walk and talk lesson, and this is all based upon this war with Iran and how it's exposed the weaknesses in America, and basically America is being ran out of the so-called Middle East. You know, they have bases in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and United Arab Emirates and Oman. You know, they have these pacts, these alliances with the GCC, those Gulf Arab nations, which produce pretty much a large portion of the world's energy came out of there, as well as fertilizer, as well as particular byproducts from the oil and gas, like helium and different things like that, right? I believe 1/3 of fertilizer came out of that Strait of Hormuz. So basically, America going into Iran, okay, they call it the Iran trap. It's Iran. They're being blasted out of their bases. So it's hard for them to restock, refill, logistically, because remember, you can have the best weaponry, right? And you can have many soldiers, but there's a logistics issue that you have to solve. You have to make sure everybody is fed. You have to make sure that equipment is repaired, supplies are coming in. You know, they're burning through jet fuel, and basically, America is. Let me bring a precept, because all your analysts are like, "What the hell is going on? We lost the war." In a conventional aspect, America has lost. Okay, now we know there's a deeper there's another layer of that, where we know where the wicked elite behind the scenes, okay, are orchestrating all these things to bring in the global reset. And in their eyes, America has to go down. America, they pretty much built it up, and now it's actually better and cheaper just to burn it down to the ground and then rebuild from there, because they want to bring everybody into this global system, which is going to be pretty much you're going to be initiated in and confirmed in through technology, the RFID microchip, which the scriptures speak about that time, and how this power structure of Esau, the beast, would pretty much, offer the world this technology. So let me bring this out. This is Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, that dust represents confusion. Okay, the virgin daughter of Babylon. This is not speaking about ancient Babylon, but it's the virgin daughter of Babylon. It's like if you have a virgin daughter, meaning she's never been with a man. Okay, she's never been defiled. Okay, and that's essentially America has never been defiled. They've had no major war, they had no major catastrophe, but in all actuality, they went around the whole world causing devastation. Okay, causing evils, stealing resources. The very fact that they're in West Asia, as well as Korea, right? They took that missile systems out of Korea, as well as joint war drills with Korea as well, military drills, joint military drills. Trump wants to pull out of those, and then basically he just cursed out Korea because he asked the South Koreans to join him in the war with Iran. They were like, nah, we good. Okay, and the first precept that came to mind with Obadiah. We'll get there. Let me finish this. It says, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans is speaking about the wizard class, okay? The elite class. Because behind the scenes, best believe, just like since the beginning of time, there's always been a priesthood, okay? There's always been a priesthood, and there's always been levels of witchcraft, all right? In order to, further the heathens, their will, okay? In this case, world domination, as they believe, the NWO, essentially, okay, which is going to be governed by a microchip, the technology that they control and they own. It says, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, right? Because everybody wanted to come to America. Everybody wanted to get a piece of the pie. Everybody wanted to lay down with the whore. And they did lay down with the whore and the other nations. And they, it was pleasurable for a moment, but now everything's starting to backfire. Okay, because as America goes down, the world economy goes down because everything is interconnected. Okay, so these nations are trying to decouple, okay, from the American hegemony, the American empire. There's going to be loss. There's going to be, suffering, but they're trying to minimize that suffering. And they're moving more towards China, more towards Russia, more towards a multipolar, hegemony, rulership, which that's not gonna happen, because before that happens, all-out war is going to happen. Before that happens, the RFID microchip is going to be, and we always speak about the RFID microchip because that's the main thing that has to happen in order for Yahushua to come back. But let me continue. Take the millstones and grind mill, uncover the locks. Okay. Where am I? Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Take thy nakedness shall be seen. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. So pretty much the Edomite is complaining how their standard of living is diminished. They're complaining about an unjust war. You have individuals trying to commit suicide on these aircraft carriers, okay, because of deplorable living conditions. Individuals losing 20, 30 pounds, being worked to death, okay? Then the buying power of the dollar is diminished, okay? The infrastructure of America is bad, okay? And then these average Edomites, they're being, because of DEI and Jake is taking over. Contrary to popular belief, they say Jake, the so-called black man, is only 13%, but that's a lie. Okay, Jake outnumbers, okay, the heathen nations, or I should say Esau. Okay, Jake as in general, all the tribes, but the so-called black man here in America, there's probably more so-called blacks in America than there are Edomites. Okay, but of course they're gonna say no, that's not the case, and this is why there is a agenda to have Planned Parenthood, okay, in Jake's neighborhoods. And then, of course, the different chemicals that they put in there in our people's foods, the different medical support, it's all medical racism. To do what? Just like the ancient Egyptians, basically destroy the Israelite child, especially the man-child. That's really what it comes down to, destroying the man-child, because the man, he carries on the seed. Okay, he repopulates the earth through his seed. The woman is the earth. Okay, the woman is the earth where the seed is planted in, and the earth nurtures the seed and grows the seed. But the earth did not, the earth has nothing to do with what the seed is going to be. Okay, so the whole goal of Esau is to destroy Jake. Okay, I wanted to go, Because they said, I will not meet you as a man. I want to go to Obadiah. Because ultimately, Yahweh Shai is coming back, who the world calls Christ. And the Edomite, the so-called white man, he doesn't believe in the Most High. And if he says there is a God, then the God is white. Okay? And none of these Edomites are going to bow down and worship a so-called black God. Okay? It's just not in them. Their whole society is based upon oppressing the so-called black man. It's spiritual. Okay? And all the other heathen nations, they lend a hand. Even the native, the so-called Africans, the actual real Africans, Ham. Because our people are scattered amongst Africa. So just because, they might be from a particular country in Africa doesn't mean that they're genetically, if you call it, if you will, African. You are who your father is. You are the seed of your father. Okay? Just like an apple seed. When you have an apple that grows off the tree, okay, that apple came from a seed of an apple. It didn't come from a seed of a pineapple. So the same thing, the man's seed. And with that carries the nation, the spirit of your nation. So if you're a Moabite, you're a Moabite. Okay? If you're an Edomite, you're an Edomite. All right? And through white supremacy and pseudoscience, okay, racist science, all right, the reclassification of nations, okay, put them into race, okay, these constructs, it has really jacked up this world and jacked up the minds of the people, especially Jake, okay, the ones that don't know their identity. So it's easy to fool someone who doesn't know their identity. Obadiah verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Yeah, ultimately because the Heavenly Father is revealing these things. It tells you that in Job, the 20th chapter. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity and the earth shall rise up against him. Okay, so all these things, all the secrets of Esau, they're being rooted up and revealed. Okay, when you go back into Isaiah 47, we were reading, it goes into the uncovering of Babylon the Great. Okay, the dust, the confusion, the shame, seeing the shame of America. Okay, the history is being brought up, what you did to the so-called black man, so-called Native American man, the indigenous tribes of Central and South America, North Central and South America, really. Okay, which were the 10 tribes. Okay, so what you doing there, and then openly oppressing people, openly not allowing people to sell their own natural resources unless you get a piece of the pie, or unless really you control it. It's not even a piece of a pie. Esau doesn't want a piece of the pie. Okay, he wants to control it. He wants to control everything. He wants to control how many steps you take a day. He wants to control where you can be at in the earth and how long. Okay, how much money you can receive. In the NWO, you're not going to even have real money, like a physical money, like, because you got paper dollar, right? But you can actually hold paper dollars in your hand. Okay, Esau in this NWO that he's orchestrating as we speak, everything's gonna be digital. he's gonna take everything physical, just as he says, you should own nothing and be happy. Okay, he's gonna take everything physical and he's gonna rent it out to you. What they call a circular economy. Okay, your clothes are gonna be rented out to you. Okay, you're gonna be on food rations. Okay, you're gonna be in a 15-minute city. All right, you're just like a prison. You eat at a certain time. You only have a certain limited of foods that you can eat. If you have some money on your books, you can eat a little better. Okay, if you have a higher status, you probably got a better room, probably get a TV. So that's pretty much the NWO. You're going to be in slavery, but you're going to get some benefits if you are of that elite class. Okay, if you have the money to do so. But nevertheless, at any given moment, okay, any given moment, they'll turn your shit off, which is total control. Okay? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things thought of? And nobody's talking about how America's winning other than Trump, okay, Hexeth, okay, the war hawks in America, okay, the different generals and admirals that have to, speak about and pretty much try to speak victory, when it's a complete shit show. It literally lie. Now that everything is now on TV, and information is moving so quick. That's Daniel the 12th chapter, and all the information is saved. It can be rewatched over and over again. They're bringing up stuff that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago that the Edomites said, that the Edomites did. But this is the thing. He's proud. Esau's proud. He don't care that Ultimately, he is being revealed. He does know that he has a short time, but at the same time, he's a proud man. Okay, and he doesn't care that or not. And his ultimate plan, you're eliminated. He has the power. You're eliminated, and he can hide where you can't get him. Okay, and now they have AI, they have robots, they have they can control the military, they control the police, they can paint somebody to be an enemy. They can literally just paint you to be the enemy, and then have the law enforcement come get you. Okay, they don't have to confront you. The elites don't physically confront anybody. They have a whole system set up where there are cronies. Okay, like the police, the American police. That's nothing other than the police of the Rothschilds. They wear the Rothschild shield, the badge. That's the Rothschild shield. Okay. So all these things that were hidden, this intricate plan of the elites, the Chaldeans, the priest class, the Most High gave them that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be able to do these things. They're all being uncovered. And now the weaknesses of Babylon the Great are being shown, even though they believe that they're going to control particular things. Don't let it fool you. Don't let that fool you into thinking that Esau, he's in control and he got everything under control. Nah, he's going to be rushed. As it says in Job the 5th chapter, the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. That word, the counsel of the forward, headlong. That word headlong is mahar. One of the definitions is to be rushed, to be hastened. Okay, so the Lord is hastening Esau, and anytime you do something in haste, there's always room for mistakes. You always make mistakes when you do something too fast. You got to slow down and take your time. Do it right the first time so you don't have to do it again. But Esau, he's being driven to move quick. Just look how all this thing happened with the war in Iran. Just one day we wasn't in war. Next day, boom, you're in war now. How many days has it been? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I don't know. 3 months? Almost 4? It says, all the men of thy confederacy. And let's look at this word confederacy. And then I'm going to look up what Japan, not Japan, but South Korea. Barayath. Okay, covenant, alliance, pledge between men, treaty, league. Okay, let's go in, because these nations, it's even something with Oman. Oman might be breaking away from the American hegemony, and they're probably gonna link up with Iran. We know that the scriptures say Russia, or it doesn't say Russia, excuse me, Gog, okay, will be a guard, which we know Gog prophetically is to be Russia. Ra'ashar, the chief prince. Okay, and the scriptures actually label, Gog, the chief prince. Okay, which that's when you break down that word Ra'ash, Shar, or Russia. Okay, it's a Hebrew word. Apostle Elder Tar, he broke that word down. Okay, let me do this though. Trump, and South Korea. We just typed it in. Right, what I was saying earlier, Trump, this is from the Washington Post. Trump defends his move to cut back U.S. South Korea military exercises. Okay, because they have to take a lot of resources from that Asian flank. Because you have to remember, the American government still is in control of South Korea and Japan militarily. Now, their policies, pretty much the South Koreans are somewhat autonomous. They have to adhere to the system, the financial system, but they're somewhat autonomous. Esau's not coming down upon the South Koreans or the Japanese. Okay, like he came against Jake. Like, hey, no, you gotta learn English. You gotta assimilate. Okay, you can't learn Korean no more. They didn't do that. You can't wear your ancient clothing no more. They didn't do that. Okay, they drink of the nations drink of that wine. They became like America, but they're not quite America. And now they want to break away. So basically, Trump is saying, hey, look, we got to take away resources from South Korea, because if America gets out of South Korea, what's going to happen? North Korea is going to go and take over South Korea. North Korea has nuclear missiles. So the thing that's holding back North Korea and China for overtaking South Korea, Japan, okay, Taiwan is the American military influence. But now it's starting to deteriorate. The actual equipment, the actual ships are starting to deteriorate, as well as the mind of the men. There's a lack of enthusiasm. There's a lack of will to fight. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Okay, so Trump wants to. I wanted to get some. Trump was pressuring South Korea to enter the war. Yeah, basically says no. Let me see something like that. Bear with me. Trump, this is the Hill. Trump's South Korea move rattles foreign policy world. I'm trying to find. I mean, we don't have to get it. I just wanted to see. This is the reason why Trump is cutting military military defense exercises with a so-called key ally, because that key ally was like, nah, we don't want to enter the war. So you can look that up on your own. Let me see. Okay, there we go, from pbs.org. ESO don't want to, this is relatively new information. I guess within like the past 24 hours, maybe. Okay. Because I believe the drill was today. So many things are going on. You know how the time is different over there. I believe they're more forward than the United States. So they're like in the next day. Okay. But this is from PBS. Trump lashes out at South Korea over its refusal to join Iran war, because America's in this thing alone. You had the least of the flock drew America into this war, drew it out. So let me go back. Okay, an ally. Remember, South Korea is a major ally to America. It's not because they want to, but they were occupied. South Korea, Japan, these are nations that are occupied by America. The Philippines, okay, Guam, okay. America has military bases, hundreds of military bases. Let me look that up. I did it before. Okay, how many bases does the U.S. have around the world? Yeah, the United States operates approximately 750 to 800 military bases overseas. Overseas! Do you know how much money that costs to operate bases? 750 to 800 bases, okay, overseas? I mean, endless amounts of money. Okay, really, at this point, the shit is just a Ponzi scheme. Okay? They just make it. They just making money out of thin air. What they just spent 1.5 trillion. Trump asked for from Congress to fund the military. So this, like I said, at this point, it's just a Ponzi scheme, man. Okay, it's just one big Ponzi scheme the elites are using America to fulfill their will. But ultimately, when you go another layer deep, because you got the surface geopolitical madness going on, but then you have the wicked elite behind the scenes doing things. But you have the Most High from the top. He's the puppet master. He's controlling everything. Proverbs 21 and 1. I believe that's Proverbs. It should be 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and he turneth it whithersoever he will. So we know ultimately that it's the Most High, Yahweh, that's in control of all these nations and orchestrating them to do and to fulfill his will. Okay? So, and we're starting to see how we're going to go back to Obadiah, how Esau's allies, which goes into that confederacy, Esau's allies, okay, are going to deceive Esau, okay, and pretty much there's going to be a break of alliances. And you can look in history, and you can study history, and you had nations that were allies, and then boom, the alliance broke. Okay, so this is nothing new under the sun. There's a shift, there's a change in power that's going on. That's actually what's happening. Okay. Obadiah, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. So even those Koreans, they're gonna remember you have the U.S.-Korean War. Okay. And I believe I gotta go into the history, but there's history on how the Koreas were broken up, and it's basically broken up by the small hats. It was divided. Okay, North Korea and South Korea. And that's what the Edomite did. They win, they break up lands, and they create different borders. It's all a divide and conquer tactic. But that same tactic, the Most High is using on Esau, Edom, the Edomite. Okay. Is that and prevailed against thee, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Okay, the understanding. Let me go. No, I got to read verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord? Give me a second. Hopefully it's still going, man. Let me put on Do Not Disturb. This, this get fucking, every time you do something, goddamn scam calls, man. You know? Shit. Motherfuckers call you like 10, 15 times a day. It's like they don't stop from just random numbers from different parts of the United States, out of the country. Shit. Let me go back. Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? And now you have all these analysts, right? They're looking at the American strategy, and they're like, well, what the fuck is wrong with them? What's wrong with Congress? What's wrong with these admirals? What's wrong with these generals? What's wrong with these secretaries of defense and the treasury? And what's wrong with the commander in chief? Like, they couldn't tell that this was going to happen? Okay. But see, this is all, it's all a gameplay. Like I heard Professor Jane, there's that one Moabite, which again, me personally, I believe he, on certain levels, he's juiced in. Okay, he's juiced in because he went to Yale. Okay, and he feigns himself as this regular guy, this poor guy. He just got famous all of a sudden. Just teaching. He's just a teacher, a school teacher from he was Canada, and then he's a teacher for the Chinese and China. The story just don't even add up. Okay, but nevertheless, he was like, hey, see, on a solely geopolitical lens, it doesn't make sense. Okay, America can't win this war. But he's like, what if Trump and all these guys, they weren't stupid. They know what they're doing. Okay, what if the whole goal is to actually lose the war, is to destroy the economy, okay? Because there's a deeper reason why these elite are moving like this. Now we know the Most High is doing it, but they are, remember, World War I, World War II, these were all orchestrated, okay? And within their documentation, they speak about 3 world wars. I believe that go back to Albert Pike. Okay, one of them damn devils. It don't even matter. But they believe that through this last war, which is going to be nuclear, they're going to be able to control it, you know, and now they're going to be able to have, that's going to be a bargaining chip. Mass death is going to be a bargaining chip for all the nations to come together this one last time and create this system of peace and safety. Okay, that's basically what it's all about, peace and safety. And that's going to be governed, again, by the RFID microchip. But it's going to be marketed and labeled as something that's going to save your life. The technology that's going to upgrade you, give you superhuman powers, you know, telekinesis. These are what these technocrats are boasting about. These are nothing other than the wicked elite. All right, they're front guys, because they always got front guys. They're not gonna put their face out there. Rarely do you see these guys. Remember, this is the secret counsel of the wicked. Okay, the scriptures expose them. See, we're able to tap deeper into what is and what's happening. Okay, not solely on the things that you see. Okay, and hearsay of so-called a conspiracy theory. All right, because we're going to what is. Okay, what was written beforehand. And ultimately, the Most High set us up to be the prophets, and he's given us his secrets. I did a video on that the other day. We have the secrets. Not only the secrets of who we are, okay, returning back to knowing that we're Israelite, who the Most High is, his name, okay, what does he want us to do? You know, what's our instructions? But as well as exposing the heathen, okay, who's the Hamite? Okay, who's the Japhite? Okay, who's the Edomite? Okay, because they're all playing in this game. They're all playing a role in a script that was written in the Bible before we were even here. Okay, and we're the only ones that are able to break that down and deliver it to the people. Remember, we're the prophet unto the nations. Okay, the Lord said he said Jeremiah, he set him up over the nations. Okay, so we're here to tell the whole world what's getting ready to happen, whether they listen to it or whether they disagree. Okay, and shake their hand or try to take us out. Okay, it says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, these are the smartest of the Edomites, the Germans, but just represents the elite class, the wise, the so-called wise priest class. Okay, you got these war strategists. Okay, they looking like complete assholes unless it's all to at the top to destroy America. But the people on the surface level, they don't really know. You got the Edomite. The Edomite really wants to save America. The Edomite really believes that it's God bless America. He can't believe that he's going down. And what is he doing? He's lashing out on Jake. Jake is the problem. It's the immigrants. It's the black people. It's the rob, you know? Meanwhile, they're setting up a surveillance state, all right, that's tripping up Esau, invading into his privacy, okay, trying to take his guns, all right, trying to take his autonomy. And he doesn't like that, all right? And then he's being reduced to, being looked at as the new nigga. And he definitely can't have that, because he was cool in his position as long as he was over these so-called blacks and Native Americans and the rest of the other nations. He had a level of pride. You know, the way that he moved in society was completely different from us. Okay, he was that nigga. But now everybody's looking at him all crazy. Okay. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. And here comes the Christian apologists. They can't answer this question. They like to go into, Jesus loves, that's pretty much all that they do. They speak about, is Jesus God? They want to debate you if Jesus is God. They want to debate you on, the virgin birth. Shit that is completely dogma, okay, made up stories, and doesn't have anything to do with anything. But it's taking your attention off of the real matter. Okay, what's the real matter? Your world is crumbling. You should be figuring out how Jesus is going to save you from your world, your economic distress. Okay, your social political distress. Okay, these nations coming up against you. The talk of nuclear war. What did Jesus Christ have to say about nuclear war? Why isn't Jesus Christ at the front of these tables when you speak and you talk to these heathens? When they're talking about they're going to shoot missiles on each other, and this and that. So this world that especially you black Americans, okay, as well as all you Americans, especially you Christian so-called Americans, the world you lived in Christianity does not answer the real world problems. This is why they be crashing out, because you're trying to separate so-called religion from actual things that are actually happening. All you say, just love. We gotta just love. We just gotta treat each other good. We gotta be nice. We got a whole open door. Is this happening on a global scale, or is motherfuckers shooting ICBMs and attack drones and you see what I'm saying? And ballistic missiles and shit. Are people shooting? Are people dying from that? Bombs. Where's the Christian church, okay, condemning, okay, the actions of the American government, and not just the so-called Pope saying we need to just chill out and relax. No, where is there a staunch rebuke, okay, against the actions of America? There will be none, because the same people that set up America were the same people that murdered people to get America under the name of their God, Jesus Christ. So we don't want to hear none of that. You're trying to bring us back into a failed system. You're literally trying to bring us back into captivity, okay, in the mind. That's Stockholm syndrome. Here it is, your oppressor, okay, has destroyed you, taken away your wealth, taken away your language, your heritage, all right? But he gave you his God. And his God is an all-loving God, okay? And his God, there is no such thing as revenge. You should just love. So you'll never rouse up, okay? You'll never rouse up. Let me get Jeremiah. I believe who's that? Jeremiah 49. Right. Jeremiah 49:7, it says, concerning Edom, it's you Edomites. Okay, the Edomite is being ran out of their bases. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to get ran out of majority of all their bases in around the world, or 750 to 800 bases, okay, worldwide. Okay, that's crazy. All right, bear with me, this damn demon over here. Okay, bear with me. Okay, hopefully everything's good. Let me go back. Concerning Edom, thus said the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanish? Because remember, the Edomite, everything he used to touch back in the past, that shit used to hit. He did no wrong back then, even though he had all these failed experiments. But for the most part, everything looked good. He was able to go into, it's really when the Vietnam, man, around 1969, 1970, that's when he started to go down, when he boasts that he was able to go into the heavens. Okay? No other nation was able to do that. So he's like, I'm the big bad white man. But now his counsel is failing. Okay, his prudence is failing. They couldn't figure out that, this was a bad decision to go into that nation, go into Iran. Okay, they couldn't figure that out. Yeah, the Most High is hard. Well, even if it didn't look like a good idea, they said, you know what? With the American ingenuity, the Edomite mind, we're high IQ. We can do anything. We're the best. Fuck yeah, we're the best, America. Right? So they went into that. They go into everything with that spirit. They truly believe that they cannot lose. And then they're like, well, shit, we got the nuclear missile, so it don't even matter. All right, but guess what? Other nations have the nuclear missile too. And other nations are mad at you, okay? And they're watching on the world stage, and they're all, as we read in Obadiah, they're gonna deceive you. The ones that you help out, the ones that you're in alliance with, they're gonna turn on you. See, he's not ready for that. He's not ready for the reality of the matter, and that's why he doesn't listen to us. You know, outside of we're saying that, you know, he's the devil. We're also saying that his society is going to crash, okay, and it's going to be burned with fire, and then he's going into captivity. That's not the end. America being destroyed, Esau. That's just the beginning of your worries, okay, because that's going to be quick in comparison to the hardcore bondage that you got to serve under the ones that you oppressed. Okay, and guess what? When we were in slavery, the Most High ultimately showed us mercy. Okay, he didn't completely destroy us. The Heavenly Father Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai, they're not going to show Esau any mercy. He's not going to receive any mercy. Why? Because he has not shown any mercy. Okay, so it's going to be much harder. Okay, it's going to be much harder for Esau to deal with it than what we deal with. Okay, let me where am I? Verse 8, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, America, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. So this is the time in which Yahweh Basham Shai is visiting Esau. All prophecy is converging. Prophecy is happening. Okay, the allies of America, which would jump to anything America would say in the past, they're like, nah. Remember this whole thing with Greenland, right? And you had Denmark, okay, basically like, nah, bro, chill out, Trump. And they were actually, you know, it was in the air that the EU was going to take nation or take action against the United States for trying to, you know, take over Denmark. Maybe it still might happen. We don't know. But things are going to happen quick. That's going to fuck these people up. The world order is changing. But see, it's not, okay, the world order is changing and, you know, it's just going to be, you know, China's going to pick up where America left off and everything going to switch to the east, or it's going to be multipolar with China and Russia. No, fuck that. That's not happening. Okay, in the midst of all this, all right, this RFID technology is being set up. Okay, and they're going to offer the whole world, okay, the mark of the beast. Okay, in the midst of war. And then it's just going to turn nuclear. And that's when Yahweh Shai is coming. Okay? So don't let anybody else fool you. That's the end goal. In the midst of all this collapse, Esau is going to bring in an RFID microchip. And once he does that, he chips the majority of the people down here on the earth. Okay? Yahweh Shai is going to come and the nuclear war is going to break up. America's going to be completely destroyed. The elect are going to be beamed up. Okay? So I'm going to close it there until next time. Shalom to the elect.